As President Donald Trump carries out his mass deportation plan, we're seeing industries impacted all across the country. New data shows that impact is already being felt here in Colorado as well. Here's our Angelique McCall.
I'm going to Springfield and I'm going to Aurora.
President Trump promised mass deportation.
Police!
Since taking office, we've seen increased ICE raids and operations and policy changes revoking legal status for immigrants. Those changes, the Pew Research Center says, has translated into a decline in the immigrant community. New data shows that 53.3 million immigrants were living in the U.S. in January 2025. By June, that number shrank by about 1 million people.
America just witnessed the very chaos we've all been warned about. A massive wave of illegal immigrants surged across the southern border, overwhelming agents and straining communities. And while weak leaders wring their hands and beg for sympathy, President Trump wasted no time. He slammed the border shut. That's the difference between leadership that acts and leadership that collapses under pressure. Trump campaigned on this. He promised the American people, "I will protect you from all threats, foreign and domestic." And right here, he delivered. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to like this video, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Carney's crying about optics. But when you see a surge like this, it's not immigration, it's an invasion. Thousands pouring in at once, crushing local towns, draining resources, and threatening public safety. Families worry about crime, schools are jammed, and hospitals are stretched thin. That's not compassion, that's neglect. And when Biden and Carney say the situation is manageable, it's clearly not. Trump saw the chaos and said, enough. Borders mean nothing if they can't be enforced. Without them, you don't even have a country. He showed the kind of backbone Washington has lacked for years. Americans don't want to wake up thinking, gee, who crossed my yard last night? Trump knew this was about national security, not pandering to activists. That's why he acted swiftly, and it's why his base trusts him. President Trump campaigned on 20 core promises to make America great again. And in just 6 months, he's already delivered. From lowering costs to securing the border to enhancing public safety, Trump didn't close the border out of anger. He did it because decisive action is leadership. The country was bleeding from human trafficking, cartel expansion, and weak politics. Carney talks about commissions, excuses, and endless meetings. Meanwhile, under Trump, border crossings dropped to historic lows. Wall construction resumed.
We will close the border. We will stop the invasion of illegals into our country. We will defend our territory. We will not be conquered. We will not be conquered.
And Trump showed exactly what action looks like. He doesn't complicate things. Trump says, here's the problem. Here's the solution. Close the door. Stop the bleeding. Restore order. Simple, bold, but it works. Remember when he first signed the border controls? Crossings dropped. Cartels panicked.
The occurrence, it almost didn't faze me.
Trevor Livingstone runs Livingstone Brewing in Franklin, Quebec, just a few kilometers from the United States border. Those windmills are in New York State.
We're the most southern brewery in Quebec, which is a claim to fame to nothing.
He says he's had plenty of satisfied customers this summer, but he's also had dozens of visitors of another kind. People illegally entering Canada at irregular border crossings and ending up on his family's property.
This year has been insane. It's every day, all day, last couple months, non-stop people crossing.
Military-type helicopters flying overhead, a common sight. Livingstone and others are on a first-name basis with the many RCMP officers patrolling the area.
It's very common to see the RCMP picking up people on the side of the road, people hiding in the bush or on the side of the road, vehicles that are there to pick up people. It's daily this happens.
Photos and videos provided to Global News by neighbors who did not want to appear on camera show migrants in the woods last winter. Livingstone says people came to his aunt and uncle's house right next to the brewery.
And all of a sudden, a group of women were knocking on the window. And this was in the middle of the winter at a very cold night of like minus 20.
Livingstone understands that people are coming to Canada looking for a better life and sympathizes with the migrants. Many are women and children. Roxham Road was known as the top irregular crossing until it was shut down in 2023. The brewmaster says at least then authorities were better set up to
Law enforcement finally had breathing room. Compare that to Carney's endless speeches and whining, and the contrast is nauseating. Trump proves he's the fighter. Carney is just another fragile elite pretending to lead. Now, about Carney's meltdown, it was sad, pathetic even. Instead of admitting Trump was right again, Carney threw a tantrum over image and perception, obsessed with looking polished while the country burns. Nobody cares about his ego. Working families care about jobs, safety, and security. Carney thinks leadership is applause from Europe. Trump measures it by whether an American family in Texas feels safe tonight. Trump acts, Carney whines. Trump stops chaos. Carney enables it. Every time he lashes out, Carney shows he's not in charge of reality. That's weakness. Plain and simple. Trump fights for American workers. Carney protects elites who never face the fallout. When the border floods, it's not Carney's neighborhood that suffers. It's working-class Americans. Schools overcrowded, wages pushed down, communities destabilized. Trump built policies to defend the very people who elected him. Carney hides behind globalist talking points and climate conferences. Ordinary people don't want their livelihoods sacrificed so elites can feel morally superior. Trump knows protecting borders means protecting jobs, dignity, and sovereignty. Carney can whine about optics all he wants. He's not even keeping his people safe. Americans know Trump is in their corner, and that's why they trust him. The media spun into overdrive the second Trump shut the border. Outlets twisted themselves into knots, calling it cruel and dangerous. But these are the same voices ignoring chaos in border towns. The drugs pouring in, or children exploited by cartels. They demonize Trump while their narrative crumbles.
This comes after the Pew Research Center says in 2023, there was a historic peak of unauthorized immigrants living in the United States, roughly 14 million in 2023. Here in Colorado, that number was 200,000. Still significant, but not nearly as high as other states like Texas and California. Numbers that today are still in flux as President Trump continues changes, already putting into place 181 executive actions that have impacted migration patterns and deportations for those who are already here. As you heard, Colorado has about 200,000 unauthorized immigrants living here in the state, but that number was actually higher back in the mid-2000s, then it declined, and now we did start to see it rise again, and then also dip in the last 6 months.
Angeline, there are certain parts of the labor market that are impacted more, things like construction, for example.
Yeah, we know that actually the immigrant labor force makes up about 20% of the entire labor force, and we saw a 1% decrease, right, just in the last 6 months alone. We saw major industries like hospitality, construction, and agriculture as some of the main impacted industries because people are obviously getting deported, self-deporting, or choosing not to come here.
And we're just starting to see those impacts. Angeline McCall reporting.
Americans see through it. They know the press. It doesn't care about the working mom who can't afford groceries or the sheriff begging for backup. Foreign leaders aren't footing the bill. The American taxpayer is back home. Trump is the only one standing up to stop the bleeding. The media can scream, but reality is, on Trump's side, truck drivers, farmers, factory workers, regular Americans are cheering. They've had enough of being ignored. Years of weak leadership turned their communities into dumping grounds. Trump gave them relief. Closing the border sent a clear message. Someone is finally putting America first. Liberals panic because they know Trump looks strong while Carney looks weak. Families now feel someone hears their cries. That's why rallies grow bigger, confidence stronger, and support wider. Americans know this fight isn't about politics. It's about survival. Trump delivered action, promises made, promises kept. Liberals, horrified, watch Trump dominate the narrative. But Trump thrives when the fight is real. He doesn't hide behind talking points. He takes problems head. Carney collapses under pressure, stumbling with excuses, proving he's unfit for leadership. The migrant surge was a test. Trump passed, Carney failed. One man defends American families. The other defends cocktail parties and reputations. For border towns, this isn't abstract. It's life or death. Trump showed strength. Carney showed weakness. And the people know the difference. At the end of the day, this border showdown proves exactly why America needs Trump, Carney is hopelessly out of his depth, whining while the crisis grows. Trump acts. Carney complains. The American people see who's truly fighting for them. Trump protects sovereignty and security. Carney protects his image. And that's all for today from us here at the Zone Media Network. Don't forget, smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep this conversation going, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.